Okay, cool. Yeah. What do you want to focus on?
I have a tremendous amount of trouble with two things.
Okay.
The first one is finishing.
Right.
Finishing up like entire songs.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Which I don't, maybe that's just a thing that I need to work on by myself. The second thing is choruses. I suck at choruses, like horrendously suck at choruses. And also, I'd love to get. I wrote this. I wrote a couple of other small pieces, but this is one I want to focus on because this is something that I'm actually going to prepare a beat for and put it on the beat. And,
cool.
Like that. Now, maybe I'll be the one performing it. Maybe I'll find somebody else to perform it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather perform it by myself, but I just don't have the confidence in my skill as an MC.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so what did you want to start with then? Which one of these?
So I'll start with the lyrics as I sent you.
Okay, and that's called "Don't Let Go."
Yeah.
Okay, and
right now.
I got the file. I did get the file.
All right, you can listen to it.
Okay, yeah.
This is the first time I ever performed it. So
okay.
We'll see.
Okay. And then what did you send me on WhatsApp? Are these just the same lyrics?
It's the same thing.
Okay.
I couldn't send it on Skype, and then I figured out how to.
Okay, nice. All right, let's listen to this real quick then.
Previous recording was really, really soft, so I'll try to do it louder now. To get my lyrics. Alright. Listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain, yet I won't refrain, because you got my blood pumping all through your veins. I can't entertain what went through your brain, prevent you or blame you, I do the same. Life's a brutal game. Too ashamed to communicate the rate of self-hate you're released to hallucinate, cut and mutilate. Couldn't believe your perfect imperfections can garner such attentive affection. Commercial deception of perfection skewed your perception. No expression of affection could reduce the obsession. No question why you fell into such a depression. Don't let go. Don't give up. I'll still be here even when you're not. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the hideous one of all? Let's see, come hither, step a little nearer, get a clearer picture, turn sideways, stretch out the posterior. Ass should be a little thicker, and those legs a little thinner. Better reconsider dinner. And on the inner, a grotesque creature, you'll never be a winner. Your distinctive feature being worthless, your life has no purpose, not just on the surface, there's no hope for you, not even a glimmer. Don't beg to differ, even your self-conscious tells me killer. What you waiting for? Pull that trigger. Don't let go. Don't give up. I'll still be here even when you're not. Third verse, chorus, outro, whatever.
Okay, cool, man. So that's all, right, to listen to?
That's what we have right now.
Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, right. Well, let's just get the chorus out of the way. So, okay. Well, the thing isn't that you're not good at writing choruses. The thing is that, and I'm not a good singer, so I feel okay saying this. You're not a good singer, you know? Yeah. And
I'm probably worse than everybody that I know.
I might challenge you for that. But, okay, well, here's like a few things, right? Because, you know, your organization, you know, like the company of Aton the Rapper is more like official now. So we can talk about it in a few different ways. So it's like, then if you write a chorus that is singing and you're not a good singer, an easy solution is just you don't sing it. You know, so at this point, you know, it's fine that, I'm not telling you to throw the chorus out. That's the important thing. It's just that you get either, one, you train to become a better singer, which takes a while and is hard, but will ultimately pay huge dividends, as I found out recently. I hired a vocal coach for some lessons. But then the other thing is you just get someone else to sing it. You know, you find a good singer. There are a million people.
That's what's in my mind. I already have somebody.
Yeah.
I have a girl that I'm thinking of getting to sing it. She already agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So like that's the thing then, you know. So what you do is just you write your choruses, and then you work with someone else on performing it, right? Now there
Yeah.
is what. So that's that. The one thing about the choruses though is you can't is how you end your second line with the vowel sound on up, and then your fourth line on how you end that line with that vowel sound of not. Because in a chorus, those lines will always be rhymed, and up and not don't rhyme. And you can't even like force it like through a slant rhyme. You can't do up and nut or op and not. So you got to change like one of those two words or one of those two lines. But everything else is still fine. You know, the pitches, the rhythms, the structure. It's all perfectly chorus-like. So if you get someone else to sing it and then you change that, I mean, it'll be, God, I mean, you could name like a million songs. It's like I Need a Doctor. Have you ever heard that song?
By who?
It's Eminem and Dr. Dre. What's her name? Something Gray. Sorry, hold on. Let's just listen to it. What's that?
Sasha Grey?
No, Skylar Grey. Skylar Grey, that's who it is. I don't even know if I have this song on here. No. But, Skylar Grey, I think, I don't know if she's British or something, but she has essentially made a living out of exactly what we just talked about. Rappers write choruses for her to sing, and then she sings it. So she's done it for, like, God, so many people. Hold on, let me look her up real quick. Okay, she's from Wisconsin.
Cool.
But yeah, she was on Fort Minor, P. Diddy song, Dr. Dre, Nicki Minaj, and Macklemore. Okay, so
That's a lot.
what's that?
That's a lot of songs to be on.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of artists and good artists.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can tell, right? I don't know if she wrote them or not, but whatever. This is exactly, if we listen to one of her songs, that's like exactly the style. Especially that you're getting a girl to do it, you know, because that will add some sort of emotional nuance to your song.
There's also one lyric that I want the girl to.
Oh, cool.
To do.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. You might even think about getting her to do more than one, because a classic thing to do is to have the singer sing the line at the same time you're rapping it on like the most important lines. Is that what you were thinking?
No, I was thinking the first sentence of the second verse.
Mm-hmm.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the
Okay.
hideous ball? Because essentially what's happening here is the first verse is me speaking to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to somebody that I know. The second verse is her speaking to the mirror, and the mirror being the self-conscious of herself, like answering.
Oh,
Mirror,
okay.
Well, who's the hideous one of all?
Yeah.
And then the mirror comes in and answers.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool, got it. Okay then. All right.
Voices that would actually make sense.
Okay, yeah. Then let's just get this out of the way real quick. We're gonna listen to that Dr. Dre song, just so you know that like you're a good chorus writer, you know. So hold on. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
I'm about to lose my mind. You've been gone for so long. I'm running out of time. I need a doctor.
Like this.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I need a doctor.
You know, it's still kind of got that floating atmospheric feel to it, right? Which is cool. Okay, so that's that. Change the rhyme. Get a better singer or female to do it. Then what else did I want to say? Okay, so now we're kind of, you know, and I still remember that song, what did we call it? Breathe, that we worked on last time?
You'll be surprised if we're still with
Yeah,
somebody.
exactly. Yeah, you know. And so obviously your style, yeah, so your style here is somewhat similar to it. But there's sort of, well, I guess it's not really a problem, but I'm going to call it a problem. The bigger problem is that your rhythms actually do not go over a beat. Because,
I know.
Because in
People that I've actually performed this stuff to are like, oh, that's great for, you know, spoken word.
Yeah, exactly. And so again, like it's spoken word. So it's like, to me, this is more of like a performance piece where your body motions and stuff like that are just as important as the actual words, you know. Now, but you said you wanted to make it a beat, right? Or to put it over a beat, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are some things, some little tricks we could put in to accomplish this, right? And so I'm going to talk about that a little bit. But if you want like more tips about writing over a beat, we'll go over that next. Did you want to do that?
Let's do that next.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's continue where we're going now.
Okay, because your beat won't have a regular beat to it. Like the instruments behind you, if you perform these raps and you don't change the rhythms, they will be untimed. They will not be timed. You know,
right.
So it won't be like dun 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 dun. This is just a Dr. Dre song, just to show you what a regular beat feels like. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. You know, they'll be more like dun dun dun. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. You know, you feel how it's kind of like always changing, and I couldn't keep snapping to it. That's so
exactly.
Yeah, but like there are other rappers who essentially for a while became spoken word artists, and they kind of ran into the same problem, right? Like how do I rap without a regular repeating beat behind me? So the person I would tell you to listen a lot to is Lauryn Hill,
Really?
on MTV Unplugged, that album. Because this is what she does. She kind of solves this problem in a really elegant way. She just gets a guitar and then strums it whenever she needs to. And her guitar playing is not the most complicated thing of all time. So, like, even you could learn it. But this sort of fixes our problem, right? Because if you're not a spoken word artist, then you need music behind you, right? And because guitars are so flexible and so easy to learn and so widely applicable, you know, they're in jazz, they're in Latin musics, they're in rap and hip-hop, they're in classical music, and they're easy to carry around to gigs, to shows, to studios, whatever, then guitars are like the perfect instance for this, right? Plus because they can play more than one note, which means they can play chords, which means they can make really interesting soundscapes, right?
Actually, the way I'm thinking about it, the way I'm translating it now, because I've learned a little bit of music production. I mean, I'm not an expert in any sense, but I'm working in Ableton, and what I can do is if I record myself first, if I do the vocals first,
and then you put the beat behind it.
And I put the beat behind it.
Yeah. That's, you know, I would be really interested to see what you came up with in terms of that. Because at that point, like, that was going to be, like, the third solution. But it's just that third solution, to me, I thought would be more complicated. But maybe if you're not notating it, then it's really not that complicated. Because, you know...
In fact, I have to do it in rhythm. I could just do it I could just do it, like, in an arrangement. Do you use any DAW?
Yeah, but I use, actually for this exact problem, I use Logic, though. Because Ableton does not, as far as I know, from what I've seen from using it, does not have as flexible bars or measures. So Logic, it's sort of like, there is a 4/4 structure to every bar, and you can make it 3/4 or 5/4, but you really got to force it to. But Logic is more like a bucket.
You can easily do it in Logic. You can easily do it in Ableton. I can show you also the settings if you want to. You can,
okay.
You can remove the whole bar structure entirely if you want.
Oh, okay, and just do it that way. Well, then, yeah. You could try that too. When I used Ableton, it was mostly for DJ stuff, so you were running like loops. And then you do kind of need that quantization.
Exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, I kind of like Logic anyway because that's another discussion. But the I mean, you could do that too, right? So then you're sort of just setting every instrument manually, right? And you're not quantizing it at all. okay, so then like the question becomes, okay, so which one of these solutions do you want to pursue? And I can explain how you would go about it.
Let's go. So, all right, how about you tell me which way you would do either one of them?
I mean, if it was me, I would do what you were saying, not the Lauryn Hill one, but to do it where you set the sounds every time. Is that what you want to do? Okay. Okay, all right. That's I'm going to have to give me a second to like analyze the song real quick. So that we know where you should put your hits.
Lyrics.
Well, before we analyze the song completely, what do you think about the lyrics?
Oh, okay.
The lyrics.
Yeah. I mean, they're really good, and this is why, like, it's kind of all intertwined, right? Like, the lyrics work because your rhythm is free. So, if you were to deliver these lyrics somehow over a normal beat, they would not hit me that hard, But because it's more sort of organic, and you're more talking how people actually talk in real life rather than sort of stylized rapping, then it comes across as better. I mean, like we've been saying for a while, right? Like, you're always going to have good words. It's sort of just like, for you, in your case, bringing up every line to the level of your best lines, right?
Yeah.
And so, so I don't know, it's like, I would prefer these kind of things, what has to be changed, what doesn't have to change, kind of more comes out once you do get through the musical analysis, I feel like. Because at that point, then you're like, oh, well, that's my best line, but I buried it in the middle of the verse, so I should pull that out and put it at the end. But, oh, there's not enough space because then a syllable that is on the offbeat should fall in the downbeat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so just kind of like how that all goes together. I mean, I think in general, this song could maybe benefit from a sharper focus. Like, you should make it clear what is happening. And I kind of remember that this is what happened with Breathe last time, too. That, like, you gave me this whole story of this is you talking to a girl, and then next is the girl self-conscious. And the first time around, while I knew that the perspective had shifted, I didn't realize that it was quite so dramatic, or what each of those people's perspective and personal histories was. So maybe you throw a line in there that kind of explains it and sort of contextualizes that a little more. Just through your use of a pronoun, like, or you could say like girl ... Or, and apparently, is this your daughter, or who are you talking to?
It's my cousin who has a lot of issues.
Okay.
She's been through some shit, and now she's pretty much on the verge of suicide, kind of.
Oh,
so
okay.
Okay,
yeah. Well, yeah, and again, you kind of got to put this stuff in there, right? And again, what I used to say last time was, it's not enough to hear your song the way you hear it. You have to hear it the way your listeners will hear it, which is someone who does not know any of your personal history or backstory.
Which is why we're talking.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And so that's like one of the hardest things for me to learn, is that when they hear your song, that's all they get, so you don't have time to tell them about where you were born, how you lived in America, the birth of your daughter, your time in the defense services, your wife. You wrote a song about fights you have with your wife and stuff like that. And so really, like, a 4-minute song turns out to be not nearly enough time, right? Right? A lot of people have trouble. They're like, I can't put 16 bars together. But, like, my problem is I come up with too much material. Because you try to explain everything. And this is why I prefer to cut a lot of material down to a little, rather than just taking, okay, this line is perfect, this line is perfect, this line is perfect, And that's sort of why mine is more like you're cutting down a diamond, I guess, is how I would put it, right? You got to get rid of the mud that's around it, the copper, the tin, the nickel, the less valuable metals, until you're left with just that. Okay, so there's that. So lyrics wise, then make that perspective change sharper and explain it more. But then the other thing, it's just like with your rhyme schemes, you sort of sometimes get locked in these how to put it, like expected, predictable rhyme schemes because your rhymes are based on forms of English words that occur all the time, like affection, perception, expression, obsession, depression. Like that ION ending is just the way we make an adjective. Yeah, right. And so, it's fine for one or two songs or maybe a verse here or there. But at some point, and a good way to get out of this is just by opposite action. Sit down and write a song where you're like, okay, I'm going to rhyme as little as possible on this. And Pooh from the, what's that rap group's name? Little Brother. I can't remember what it's called, but he's got a song, Big Pooh. Hold on. Big Pooh rapper, verse without rhymes. He's got a verse where he like rhymes the whole thing, but he doesn't rap, or he raps the whole thing, but he doesn't rhyme at all. No. Yeah, but I can't remember what it's called. I thought it was called Whatever You Say, but it might not be. But yeah, anyway, so you sort of just got to sit down and start a song from the beginning that way, because it's really hard to take rhymes out of a verse once you've written it. That's what I found, is like your mind just locks onto that relationship of sound so strongly that like...
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, so you got to do it next time. I've thrown away good lines because I couldn't get the rhyme out of my mind. And obvious things, like... You get to know these words, right? Like, as soon as I make a rhyme on the sound Earl, I know I'm fucked, man. Because there are, like, 5 words, and none of those 5 words have anything to do with each other. It's like pearl, curl, furl, unfurl, whirl, world. And then, like, you're fucked. You're fucked, And so that's just something... Which one? Hurled, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but again, like, and all those words, it's mostly
you can't do much with that.
No, yeah, and it's mostly an archaic sound, right? Like, all those words have to be old Middle English words that have been in our language for 1300, like, since the 1300s, and in 100 years, like, they won't be around anymore. Just because it's such a weird sound that we don't, like I've been saying this whole time, does not occur very often. So that's another thing about your rhymes. But again, because your rhythms are so interesting, it's just not like the first problem we have to fix. In all of these things, right, I've always been really at pains to try and get you to prioritize your editing process so that you understand how things sort of just fall into place once you make good decisions from the get-go, okay? Because I know... those are my favorite times. That's when I know I'm writing well. Is when something perfect works out for you, that it seems like the lines just wrote themselves.
Yeah.
That's when you're doing it right. When you're like, shit, that just came together, and it was so obvious it jumped out at me, to the point where, like, you feel like you didn't come up with it. Because, like, you were just always driving in the right direction, and you were going to get there eventually.
The first half of the first verse was exactly like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, right? Listen, we've never met yet. We're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain. Yet I won't refrain because you got my blood pumping all through your veins.
Yeah, exactly.
That came out like really simple.
Yeah, right? That's nice. Yeah, and plus, the idea of blood is really powerful. Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. I think I guess that's the name of the DMX. Well, okay, it's the name of a DMX album, and it's also in the Bible. That's how you know. Yeah, man, as long as you whenever you touch on anything that's like in the Bible, or the Torah, or the Quran, that's sort of when you know you're onto some good shit. Like parables and stuff like that. But yeah, so again, most of that is just stuff for you to keep in mind for like the next time you write a song, right? Okay, let's do the analysis then. Okay, can I show you the Lauryn Hill sort of solution, just so you have this in the back of your mind? Because, look, it's pretty obvious that you have a really specific way of writing, right? And so it's like, not every one of your songs can have a beat. Okay, let me back up. Not every one of your songs can have the Lauryn Hill solution. We'll just call it that. Not every one of your songs can have the spoken word solution, which is what we're about to do, where you manually set the beat. And not every one of your songs, by far, is going to have an actual beat. You know, boom, tin, boom, tin, boom, tin. So you need all of them, right? So it's good if just like the next time you sit down to write a song and you find yourself drifting in one direction, you can kind of capitalize on that motion and that direction, okay? Because this is what Lauryn Hill does.
I like these songs too. Some the hills burning up, can you tell
Nah,
me
not that one.
what we gonna do now? Hopeless victims. I'll tell you, a lot. Bound by strategy and systemic depravity. Heavy as gravity, head first in the cavity without a bottom. A fate worse than Sodom. What's got them drunk? People sleep.
I think it's that song. Just give me a second.
Well, I tell you, you keep my feet on the ground. I hope you can hear me, 'cause I know it's not profound. Can't find the words to say.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, we'll do this one.
Underwater, beyond the borders, find a sin and disorder. Bound by strategy and systemic depravity. Heavy as gravity, head first in the cavity without a now. And so I can.
Okay. So, I thought she was playing the guitar. I think she actually has someone else playing the guitar for her. But the idea is that, like, the guitar just punctuates the beginning of your phrases, right? Actually, hold on. I might have a song, but it's completely...
Go outside. Who told you to go dancing? Who fucked it up?
Okay, this is actually a song I produced for a rapper named Harry Ito, who plays guitar and rap, and he's doing exactly what I'm talking about. So let's just listen to him real quick.
Who told you you were? Who told you to go outside? Who told you to go dancing? Who told you you were happy? 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 Who told you you were? Who told you you were happy?
Right
Fuck
here.
it up. Safe face just in case on some player safe shit. Better safe than sorry. Better hope your homies. Or it's really shorty. Better off lonely. Better off not to worry. Not to think much. Not to see much. Not to seek much. No, I'm better off. Fuck it up. Bitch,
Hear that? It's like the guitar is dictating when his raps start and stop, right?
Yep.
But so while he's got like this like superstructure of music, in between he can do whatever he wants. You know, did you notice how differently his lines were? Sometimes they were fast, sometimes they were slow, sometimes they were long, sometimes they were short. And so that's just another way to do it, right? You just have the guitar.
With I wouldn't even dare say a drum machine, but how would you put drums on that? Like, where would you put a kick and snare on that?
I mean, you couldn't more than what the guitar is doing. Really, it would all have to be like textural stuff, you know, orchestrational, right. like a roll with brushes on the cymbal, right? Like, but nothing going like.
If you had a live drummer could definitely improvise on that.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, his rhythms are so specific.
It wouldn't be structured, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be structured. It'd be like garnishing the lyric.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean when I say it's textural. You know, you wouldn't want like a backbeat, like that would just like destroy kind of the feel of the song. So that's one way to do it, right?
Some playing safe shit.
Dun dun.
Better safe than sorry.
Like that's the
Better
rhythm.
homies.
Dun dun.
It's really short. Better off lonely.
Better off dun dun. And you can tell it's just like guitar, rap, guitar, rap, guitar, then rap, then guitar, then rap. And so, you know, during a normal song, it would have to be like guitar and rap at the same time, right? So, okay, and now you want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to call that the Lauryn Hill way. And I've actually thought about doing this exact thing that you're talking about. So where's your song? Where's your song? But there are no examples of what we're talking about in rap. There are examples of what we're talking about in classical music, and there are examples of what we're talking about in classical music with vocals, but I cannot think of an example like that. So what we're gonna do?
I'm intrigued. What example would you have in classical music?
Yeah, so it would be Igor Stravinsky, and honestly, the entire piece is fucking amazing. It's called The Rite of Spring. Where are you? Yeah, sorry, hold on. Igor Stravinsky, Rite of Spring. Do you like classical music at all?
I love classical music.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Do you know this one then?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know, I'm not a lame person who tries to act like classical music is cool, but this shit, like, actually fucking rocks. So this is the second movement from it, and it's a short piece. It's only, relatively short. It's only...
Short for classical. You're right.
What's that?
Short for classical music.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 35 minutes. So there you go.
Yeah.
But this movement is 3 minutes, 20 seconds, as long as they do it quick enough, because if they don't do it quick, then it kinda is lame. Can you hear that?
Yep.
I also have a piano version of it, which might just be a little sharper. Shit, what would that be? Hold on, let me see if I can find the piano version. Yeah. Actually, I like that. Okay, so this is the same music by Stravinsky, but arranged for two pianos. And it's important because his beats do not follow, they don't repeat every 2 or every 4 or even every 3 or even every 5 or every 7. The arrangement of his accented beats is unpredictable, which is exactly what your rap is doing. So I'm going to do this I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and try to pay attention to which beat the accented beats are falling on. The 1, 2, the 3, or the 4, okay? 1, 2. Sorry, it's so hard. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. See? But you could tell.
It jumped around from 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It was on 3. It was on 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, something like that.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, there's no pattern to it, right?
No.
He is always changing it, but it's not by any, what do you call that? Like proportional amount,
right.
You know? So let's see. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, so it goes 1, and then it's on the 2, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So it's on the 1, and then it's on the 2 and the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes 1, skips a bar, then it's on the 2 and the 4, skips, and then it's on the 2, right?
Right.
So, fuck me.
Essentially, that's like a kick.
Yeah. But that's exactly what I'm getting at, yeah. 2, 3, 4, 1. Sorry. I didn't start. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Right? So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. skips a bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2. Yeah, right. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's pretty fucking awesome. So there's no pattern though, right? He's not even going like 1, skip a bar, 2, 4, 1, skip a bar, 2, 4, right?
No, there's no repetition.
No, exactly. And so like perfectly like what you said, the second piano punctuating the same chord is like a bass kick, right? Because that is simply by being louder, Stravinsky is defining where the beat is. So when you do this, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to be louder, you're going to use more instruments, and that should be enough to define where the beat is, right? So now we have to kind of do the same exact thing that we did with Stravinsky's music, but with your song. So let's find out where the beats are.
Listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing got...
Listen, we've never met, but we're one soul. You know, so that's like where you would put the bass kick, right? So this is how I would do it if you want to produce it. Go through and identify the syllables that your voice is accenting, right? Listen, we've never, right? You say met, right? Is that?
Listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
List,
Soul.
met, one soul. So this is how I would do it. Just first find the structure. Don't try to make it sound nice, but go through and put a bass kick on every one of your accented syllables, right? So let's keep going just to get you started well.
that could do could... Listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take... We've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take...
And nothing I could do could ever console you. Right, okay.
I fucked up in the
Yeah.
performance. It's
Yeah.
I can do could console you or take away the. It's do and you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
I was gonna say, you know, these things got to be brought out in your performance too, because yeah, it is
Right.
it is do again, right? And I think the syllable before you too
soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain
could
yet I
ever
won't...
console you. I would do soul you. I would do soul you actually. So listen, we've never met, but we're one soul, and nothing I could ever do could ever console you. Could ever soul you, because that's actually how we speak anyway. You know,
Yeah, doom.
what's
Yeah,
that?
you know, I mean, it'll sound like a doom type thing because they come really close to one another. Listen how. It's like, listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain, yet I won't refrain, because you got my blood pumping all through your veins. I can't entertain what went through your brain.
Yeah. Okay. So I still think you got to do soul you, because you know so the beat isn't repeating, but the beat has to have a structure, right? You know,
Right.
like it was clear from the Stravinsky what the structure was, and the only thing with landing on you is that the bar right before it would go on for too long, and we would lose the structure, right? Because the obvious thing is if you go console, listen, we've never one soul, and then soul you, that gives structure to the verse because it's a repeated rhythm. One soul, soul you, in that same form, you know, and so you call this an antecedent consequent phrase where it's just the way antecedent and consequent phrase. The antecedent and the consequent together make up a period. This is classical music theory now, but it's like the first one, the antecedent, you know, like an antecedent pronoun. It's the first half, and it sets up the second half, and the rhythms of the consequent are related to the rhythms of the first one, right? So it's like, but if you get rid of this consequent and you just say soul you, that's like you reached across the bar line, and I just don't hear that structure to it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool. So, where are your lyrics? Hold on. Listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain, but I won't refrain because you've got my blood pumping all through your veins. How do you do it?
refrain because
See,
you
we've
got
never
my blood
met. We're
console.
one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain. I won't refrain because we got my. Hold on, I fucked up. Listen, we've never met yet. We're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain. Yet I won't refrain because you've got my blood pumping off of your veins.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would still do it because you got my blood pumping all through your veins. Right. Okay. Listen, I would do.
How far away is this from actually sitting on a beat?
Pretty far away. Pretty far away. You know, because like sometimes we've worked before where I'm like, oh, delete one syllable, add 2 syllables, and then it'll flow better. But this, you know, it's not that you failed at writing over a beat. It's just that you performed in such a way that it could never go on top of a beat at all. You know, like that's how I would think of it.
Because I started writing this without a beat.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I do want to reach that little thing that, you know, at the end, at least that we talked a little bit about writing so that I do write over a beat.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's fine, you know. It's just when you do write over a beat, I just don't want it to affect this kind of stuff, you know, or like Breathe and Survive.
It's 2 different things.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But it's like, you know, you fall into the same habits. Just like, you know, of here, you have so many uniform, expected, predictable rhyme schemes like expression, perfection, affection. I just don't want that. You know, I just wouldn't really sweat it because, like, everyone raps over beats, dude. And everyone's been rapping over beats for 40 years. So we sort of just need something else now. And this is kind of like would be it. You know, so I'm not telling you not to write over beats. It's just like, I don't want you to think of writing over a beat as like the best way of rapping. You know? No, yeah. Especially, you know, with this kind of shit, it's just so I can just tell it's so you know, and it's clear that you are saying things that are really important to you. But then over a beat, you're working with a lot of limitations, right? You got the tempo, you got certain subject matters you kind of have to stick to. Oh, you got a certain key, you got a certain feeling, you don't make your beats yet. Of course, you can find whatever beat you want. And I know you've been getting into production more. But yeah, so that's all. This is just to get your mind right? But yeah, I mean, the beat is pretty far away, which is why I'm sort of skipping the whole editing, that kind of editing, where it could go over a beat, you know? So, but this, I think you do have to do soul you when you do it, because otherwise it sort of just sounds like a run-on sentence, right? Because this is how you're doing it. Listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain, but I won't refrain because you've got my blood pumping all through your veins. You know, and that to me is just a little bit run-on, right? But listen to how I do it now. Listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing I could do could ever console you or take away the pain, but I won't refrain because you've got my blood pumping all through your veins. That to me is more structured. It's more grounded. Because I repeat, listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul. Nothing I could do could ever console you. You know, that rhythm is repeated twice. So again, it's not a rhythm, but it still has a structure to it, right? Because the thing about a beat rhythm, that 1, 2, 3, 4, it's just that it has, you know, an overload of structure almost, right? Yeah. Where you can't deliver these kind of things. It's super, okay, cool. What went through your brain? Right, so we've got it so far. So, listen, we've never met. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out whether to include. I wouldn't include lists, actually. I wouldn't include lists, because lists, if you start on the 1, it's sort of just a little boring.
No. The listen it's not even supposed to be on the 1, even when I wrote it.
Okay, So it's like, listen, we've never met. Well, I guess, okay, I'm just telling you.
It's either we is the 1 or met.
It's met. Yeah, do met then. Do met. Because you could do listen, because you do listen, right? List is the accented syllable. But to start on the 1 of a piece of music is just a little, like, obvious. It's super obvious by this point. So I would do, listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul. Soul you. And then the A rhymes, which are, frame. Sorry, hold on. No, pain. Frame. Let's have one frame because you've got my, and then blood. Put blood in there. And then what's the last one? Veins. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then obviously I can't entertain what went through your brain, right? So then you're doing tain and brain. And those are easy to pick out because they're part of the rhyme scheme.
Right.
I can't entertain what went through your. I can't entertain what went through your brain. I can't entertain what went through your brain. I can't entertain what went through your brain. I would actually put what in there too. Yeah. Just because, like, if all we're doing is highlighting your rhymes, well, they're already rhymes, so they already have focus on them. So they're already accented. I don't know if I made this clear, and most of the time in lessons it doesn't come up, but rhymes will always be musically accented. So any rhyme you have in here will be accented if it's by itself. Like obsession, depression, expression, perfection. Let's take like perfection and expression. I would do perfection and expression, not perfection and expression. Because even though the shin of expression rhymes with the shin of perfection, they're part of the same rhyme. It's that they're unstressed, which is why you wouldn't put a bass kick on them. Because you don't say perfection, you say perfection. And you don't say perfection. That's what French people do, because that's where they end all their words in their language.
Right.
Or you don't say expression, that sounds really French anyway. Okay. So that's skipping ahead a little bit, though. I can't entertain I can't entertain what went through your brain. Prevent you or blame you. I would say vent and blame. So I think it's pretty clear what the process is here then, right?
Yeah, I just have to go through and pick it out.
Yeah, exactly. So then the question is, so the first step, obviously, okay, well, decide what to do. So then we did that. And then the second thing we did, what you have to do, which we started doing, is identify the emphasized syllables in your rap. And then the third thing you got to do is make that structure of the emphasized syllables interesting, right? Because obviously you don't want the same thing to happen on every bass kick, because then it's just like boring. It would be about as deep and thick as a piece of paper, right? It would just be super like thin and not like anything you could sink your teeth into, right? So now the question is, obviously, I would sort of build up to an orchestral hit. And this is kind of where, like, having a drummer, first to do it, or second just to consult on it, would be...
What's an orchestral hit?
Right. I'm about to get to that. So, but just having a drummer who could either do it for you or consult on it would be really helpful, right? Because, like, an orchestral hit is, which one? Dr. Dre has some of the best orchestral hits. So I'll give you a list of songs for orchestral hits. Orchestral hit songs. So How We Do well, technically it's Game, but Dr. Dre did the beat. And then the other one is About Me. Or is it Catalina? No, it's Catalina. Which is a Raekwon song, but again, the beat is by Dr. Dre. So we'll listen to these again. Let's do Catalina, actually.
Where is he? Concentrate the job. Don't disturb the doctor.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Word up. Who said we ain't the definition of exclusive shit? Real rap, Yeah. This is multi-expensive rap here, brothers. Word up. Time to recreate the power. You know what it is, man. Nothing but gangster shit, baby. Let's go, Doc. I need that.
Right? Okay, so that's what an orchestral hit is. And it's an orchestral hit because pretty much like the entire orchestra is playing at that moment. And so, and it's a hit because it's loud, it's sharp, it punctuates the rhythm. It almost punctures the rhythm, right? It's so, defined and quick, right? So on that, there's like a bass kick. There's a cymbal splash. There's, and I don't have the best speakers right here, so I can't quite make it out. There's probably maybe like a gong. Dr. Dre is really into that sort of off, non-mainstream percussion, I guess, let's say. So that's one example. Oh, well, strings are a big part of it. So you probably have like staccato strings. You know, staccato is when you play it really
Yeah,
fast.
so that ding.
Yeah, it's a stab. You know, and you'll even see some samples like this are called orchestral stabs or piano stabs. There's one like that in Logic. So now for another example of this, let's do How We Do, where it's actually on an offbeat. It's on the end of the 4. But let's listen to it. Right there.
This is how we do. We make a move.
So, you know, so again there, it's, boom. It's basically like a ton of strings. So, you know, there are...
Yeah, ton strings, and they're doing a staccato on an up movement.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So low contrabasses, you know, cellos, probably violas, high violins, and he's got them playing in a perfect fifth, which is like what gives rock music its hard-hitting, aggressive feel, is that the chords have no third. So if I had a piano here, I could play, and you would identify it. It's a really open sound, which means it's more rhythmic and it's not harmonic, right? It's not like you're listening to a progression, a chord progression, you know, where like you're here and then you're far away and then you come back, right? It's just mostly rhythmic. So I bring up this idea of the orchestral hit, not to tell you to get a million cellos and do what Dr. Dre is doing, but to think of your beat in the same terms, which is a combination of instrumental layers, right? So instead, if you were to use the same idea as Dr. Dre, what you would do in this song is like, maybe at first you only have the contrabasses. You know, they're the low, even lower than cellos. So maybe you start out with them. And then maybe after they play the first 4 or 5 emphasized syllables of your song alone, then maybe you add in cellos, right? So now the sound feels a little fuller. So what we're doing is we're slowly building up to the orchestral hit, right? Dr. Dre didn't build up. He was just like, boom, full fucking thing. Yeah, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong. But we don't have as much other stuff going on in the song as Dr. Dre, right? We don't have the synth. We don't have the violin. We don't have the bells, I guess. Yeah, exactly, that part. You know, and we don't have a snare and stuff like that, right? And so then, you know...
have the game rapping on.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Game and 50 Cent and all of that good. Or a synth or a textural pad, you know, the little thing. Yeah. You like that imitation? Yeah, so the... okay, so now you've got the cellos and contrabasses, right, in this metaphor. And then maybe, you know, you add the violins. And then halfway through, you work it back down to just the contrabasses. And then you don't have any, and it's just you rapping. And then when you come back, it is the full orchestral hit, but only for, like, the end of your third verse. And then there's no chorus, and the song ends on a big, you know, big moment, right? So now for you... this is how I would think about it. You know, and again, you don't have to use strings. You might start out with the bass kick. Then you add the snare and the bass kick. Then you add the snare, bass kick, and a splash. You know, the or whatever, cymbal, right? The cymbal crash, I guess, is what it's technically. And then you just do the same thing. You break it back down to the bass kick in the build-up to your climax. For your climax, you don't have any of those things present. And then for the end of your climax on this big moment, you bring back the entire orchestral hit all at once, right? But again, you should think of them as layers that are either present or not present. And you know, they're...
Would you add anything apart from that?
What's that?
I mean, would you add anything else? Like pianos or...
oh, that's a good question.
What we were talking about right now is like the percussion.
Right. You could do untimed chords. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. You could do untimed chords, so like the sort of chords from that we heard in that song I produced for Harry. But again, you know, so you get, oh god, could they play a chord progression? Getting them to play an actual progression would be hard. You could pick one awesome chord and have them repeat it, But the thing about them actually playing a chord progression, they play one chord, then they play a different chord, then they play another. The thing about that is then, not only would you have to mark out accented beats, you would have to mark out accented bars. And that would be difficult because your bars are actually lasting for amounts of beats that are always changing. So like, is everything I just said about the piano clear?
Pretty much, except the chord progressions, usually they start, when you do the chords, you're saying picking out the bars so
because chord progressions, new chords always mark the start of more or less of a new bar. Okay. Which is important to know. So it'll be like, listen, we've never met, yet we're one soul, and nothing I could do. So that would, so it would be like, listen, we've never met, chord 1, yet we're one soul. Still chord 1, and nothing I can do, chord 2, could ever console you, still chord 2, or take away the pain, chord 3, but I won't refrain, chord 4, because you've got my blood pumping all through your veins. That's the home chord. So the chord progression resolves on veins. And this is what I mean. This is like the information I'm coming up with to calculate that is just like I've spent an entire lifetime studying those kind of things. So I would be happy to do it for you, and I'm not trying to intimidate you away from doing it. But yeah, that's, so you could just do what I just did and have those chord changes. But that's how we would do it. Otherwise, you just pick one really badass chord and then just repeat it, which, if you notice, is exactly what Stravinsky did. He just picked one chord. That entire chord. Yeah, exactly. So that whole thing was just one chord. Where is it? God, sorry, my computer's.
But that piano is more like a percussion instrument.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. But that's from 1923. So this was like 1920? 1913. Okay, 1923. Well, excuse me, 1913. So, this shit was over 100 years ago. So, the reason it kind of isn't blowing both of our fucking minds right now is because Stravinsky's idea was so awesome that everyone took it and used it. What is Dr. Dre doing but using the piano as a percussion instrument on this song that I'm about to play you next? So because a lot of people miss the point when they're like, oh, Dr. Dre's just playing a 4-1 in minor, which, is not anything complexity-wise when compared to Stravinsky. Not that complexity is the be-all, end-all, but it's so obvious. It's like, well, the piano isn't functioning in the same way as even Stravinsky was having it function as a percussion instrument in his own song, because Stravinsky's chord is actually really, in that movement, is actually really carefully constructed. It's I think it's 2 major chords, a tritone away. And so, every element of that, he thought out, and he plays with those intervals to come. So it's and not that rap draws its ideas from Western classical music. Sometimes it does, but not in this. But it's just everything about that is genius. The tritone to the major, to 2 chords, to superimpose on top of each other, to them being chords in the first place. Shit, man, you could take the fucking Stravinsky chord, if you wanted, and use it in your song. That might be a little too, dissonant, right? But yeah,
I feel also. It doesn't have great feel, but I'm gonna have to go for some type of a minor chord.
Exactly, I would really do extended. Do you know much about chords and constructing chords yet?
I'm learning. I'm teaching myself musical theory.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can actually teach you.
Do you have any good book recommendations for musical theory? Please, by all.
I would have to look it up because kind of none that you could get through without a teacher. So I could actually teach you all of that stuff. And honestly, beyond it, like what you need is pop chord theory. You don't need classic chord theory. So
Right.
that's one thing. But like for you, I would use a lot of extended minor sevenths minor sevenths and extended chords, which means like major sevenths, minor sevenths, and what would you say? Minor scales without a leading tone. Natural minor is what it's called. So that's what I would use. And all that shit, if you don't know what it means, you can just Google it and you'll find out like in 2 seconds. And as long as you'll just Google it and they'll be like, put your fingers here, here, and here. And that's really all you need, because obviously the draw of your song is your words, right? Not that the piano shouldn't sound good, but like your words are the main focus, right?
Right.
Right. So, I mean, I think you've got more than enough of shit to keep you occupied for 2 weeks or 1 week or however long you wanted to do. Okay?
Sounds good.
Cool, man.
Sounds
Yeah. So did you want to email me about the next lesson or what you want to do?
I'll WhatsApp you if that's cool with you. What's
up?
I'll send you a WhatsApp.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah. Just do it again. Like I said, I'm a little off the,